Can you tell everybody just a little bit about your backstory and if you had any fears about buying a home during COVID in this market?
Yeah, sure. So we've been looking for a place for about a year. Didn't really know what to expect with COVID, entering homes and so forth. But yeah, we just did a lot of online searches. Finally, we zeroed in on an area that we wanted to check out, and then we got in touch with you.
Yeah. And the way you got in touch with me, maybe you can explain that a little bit.
So we had a friend of my mom's who was a realtor, and we weren't sure what area we wanted to look to move to. There were a lot of different factors in terms of my work, Jake's work, what the community was like, whether it was close to public transportation or an airport, how close it was to the city. So we just kind of started by referral of this one realtor, but he was working in a different location, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna find someone for you that I think would be a really great match. And he connected me with you, and you said, well, let's set up a Zoom call and we'll meet each other virtually and kind of see how it goes. And then I just felt so comfortable when I met you via Zoom and we spoke the first time. I knew that I had found the right realtor.
That's awesome. You never told me that, so it's nice to hear. So in the whole process that we went through to find a home for you, was there anything that you would say that I did that you felt exceeded what you expected?
Well, for me, I know that I'm a very thorough person. So it meant a lot when I realized how thorough you were and how much attention to detail you pay. So that was definitely something for me that was very important and helped me feel very comfortable. I also felt very comfortable because I felt like you took the time to get to know me and to get to know Jake. I know that you and I had a lot more interactions in the beginning than with Jake, but I still felt like anything that I relayed from Jake, you took into consideration and remembered it and said, oh, I remember you said that you and Jake wanted this in a house. Well, I found this for you to look at. So I felt very heard by you. And then you also took the time to get to know me as a person. I would tell you like a hobby that I like doing, and you would say, oh, you're going to love this house. I know you love to cook. This is a great kitchen for you. And it was those little extra touches that made me feel very connected and really feel like you were going above and beyond to not just look at us like clients, but as people that you were getting to know and help making a really huge purchase in their life.
Right, it's a real important decision. And Jake, you thought this was going to be a very long process, if I remember.
No, yeah. So a few things came to mind in this question really was, to Lori's point, I definitely felt like you really hit it on the bullseye regarding our preference and what we were looking for. I also really appreciated your knowledge of the area and the community. I think everything that we told you really was, spot on, and just in terms of the level of privacy, the type of people, the type of area, the feel that we get when we drive around the neighborhood with all the trees. It was perfectly aligned to what we were looking for. And, if I think about the whole process, I'll never forget, there were two homes, and you took us to the first. That was the first time I met you in person. We walked through it and we said, no, let's move on. And then the second place, which is this, I remember opening the front door and just thinking we found our home. And that was a really, really wonderful, magical experience for me. I think that I'll always remember. And then we were just kind of, off to the races from there.
How about how you felt, how I handled any challenges that came up, how we were able to resolve anything?
So I think what comes to mind there is the level of due diligence. There were a few things that we had no idea about, like, looking at the flood zone, just making sure that, really everything was up to par. That kind of showed us that you were putting our interests before your own. It wasn't about a transaction or closing a deal for you. It was about, hey, we need to really make sure if, that either the sellers were covering something or, that the home was situated or placed within a vicinity that would be most conducive to the home, to buying the house. And it was awesome. I mean, we had a plan A, B, and C for almost every potential obstacle.
Great. So that's great. Thanks for that detail. So for anyone that just doesn't know me at all, why would you suggest that would you suggest that you would recommend me, and why?
Well, absolutely. Like, you didn't even have to finish asking the question for me to say that I would absolutely recommend you. Like I said, you pay such attention to detail. What Jake said in terms of you have a phenomenal network. Like, there were things that came up that I would not have known who to call or what to do, but these were things that you had seen before, or there were often things that we would walk around the house and you would say, you need to keep this in mind, you need to keep that in mind. I see that the house is on a piece of land that is has a little bit of a hill on it, so we need to think about the flood zone. Like, you always were one step ahead, and I felt like I was really being guided by somebody that had a massive knowledge base, someone who had really good resources. Everyone that you referred us to in terms of having worked on the house was exceptional. Just somebody who's just and a really solid person, someone who really knows how to connect to people and help them through something that is a very big purchase. This was the first time I ever purchased a property like this. So
Yeah.
I really looked to you for guidance. And also, you checked in a lot. And for me, that was something really important. You would check in through the whole process just to see if anything came up, how things were going along. So there was never a moment where I felt that I didn't know what to do next. I always felt like this is new, and you were not only were you leading us, but I felt like you were teaching me along the way as well, which was very helpful.
That's my goal. So I appreciate how you articulated that. So thanks again. Thanks so much for joining me here today.
You're welcome, Judy.
Many years of happiness in your home.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Thanks, Judy.